The Zeitgeist movement is not a political movement. It does not recognize divisionary notions such as nations, governments, races, religions, creeds, or class. Rather, we see the world as one organism, with the human species as a singular family. Simultaneously, we acknowledge that we depend entirely on our environment, not only in regard to the necessities of life, such as food, air, and water, but also for influence and guidance in regard to life's processes. We recognize and understand that aligning ourselves with natural processes is the most progressive, productive disposition we can have. At the core of the economic system itself is the mechanism of labor for income. Our entire economic system is based on human beings selling their labor as a commodity in the open market. If humans do not have the option to work for a living, then the monetary system as we know it is over. No one can buy goods if they don't earn money. Companies cannot afford to produce if the consumer has no purchasing power to buy anything. As John Maynard Keynes disdainfully pointed out, we are being afflicted by a new disease of which some readers may not yet have heard the name, but of which they will hear a great deal in the years to come, namely technological unemployment. Since market capitalism is built upon the logic of reducing input costs to increase profits, the inclination to replace human labor whenever possible by machine automation is a natural progression of industry. After all, a machine doesn't need to take breaks, it doesn't require health insurance or benefits, and it isn't a part of a demanding labor union.
We're given notions about the respectability of work, and I really look at it as being paid slavery.
They're brought up to believe that you shall earn your living by the sweat of your brow. That holds people back, freeing people from drudgery, repetitive jobs which make them ignorant. You rob them. We're such an abominable, sick society that we won't make the history. They just say that large nations took land from smaller nations, used force and violence. You'll get history talked about as corrupt behavior all the way along until the beginning of the civilized world. That's when all the nations work together. World unification, working toward common good for all human beings, and without anyone being subservient to anyone else, without social stratification, whether it be technical elitism or any other kind of elitism, eradicated from the face of the earth. The state does nothing because there is no state. The system I advocate, a resource-based global economy, is not perfect. It's just a lot better than what we have. We can never achieve perfection. We live in an environment that's so loused up, it's very difficult to generate good feelings between people because they come from different places with a different value system and different needs. In the society of the future, someone asked me, would everybody be alike in your society? Yes, in certain areas. They will love the earth and take care of it, stick their hands out when they meet another person with a different culture and say, your values are different than mine, I'd like to learn more about your way of thinking. They will be the same in that way. They will be open to new ideas, learn to listen to new ideas, ask relevant questions about ideas. Yes, in those areas they will be alike. And feeling that, they don't know who to elect. They think in terms of a democracy, which is not possible in a monetary-based economy. And writing your congressman is fantastic. They tell you to write your congressman if you want something done. The men in Washington should be at the forefront of technology, the forefront of human study, the forefront of crime, all the factors that shape human behavior. You don't have to write your congressman. What kind of people are they that are appointed to do that job? The future will have great difficulty. And the question that's raised by politicians is, how much will a project cost? The question is not, how much will it cost? Do we have the resources? And we have the resources today to house everyone, build hospitals all over the world, build schools all over the world, the finest equipment and labs for teaching and doing medical research. So you see, we have all that, but we're in a monetary system, and in the monetary system, there's profit. We talk about civilization as though it's a static state, and there are no civilized people yet. It's a process that's constantly going on. We're not civilized, it's an ongoing process. And so we never become fully civilized because we'd have to know quite a bit in order to behave in the most constructive manner. And that goes for intelligence. I don't know if I've talked to you about an electrical engineer of 75 years ago, an intelligent one, couldn't get a job today. So when you talk of intelligence, what are you talking about? It's an ongoing process. It isn't, that's why there's no such thing as an intelligent person. That if people are fairly well informed in area A and B, not informed in area C. And so when you go on with a word like civilization, it sounds like something that was attained. As long as you have war, police, prisons, crime, you're in the early stages of civilization, what they call civilization. If you had a free society, you couldn't get people to go to war. If you had an intelligent type of upbringing in one's children, they would say there must be many other ways of solving problems other than killing people. Now here they take a group of scientists and engineers and they work on flying machines. You give them a flying machine, they use it to bomb cities. You give them dynamite, which can be used for many different purposes, and they use it to blast people to pieces. So how can a person be scientific if they have allegiance to their country rather than to the earth and everyone on it and the intelligent use of resources? This would be a scientist to me.